This would be your wild color. This would be the chocolate.
Oh, he's so pretty.
So possibly even a little bit lighter than this. People tend to like the dark, so we are trying to breed towards the darker, the grays, almost black.
Now, is that a male or female?
These are all females. Females can live together. Males, once they hit sexual maturity, need to live on. Also has a pinto spot.
Oh,
pinto, you know, just like horses or other animals. A pinto is actually a partial albinoization. I have a picture right there. That's a full albino. You can see she's all white. Her skin is pink. She's got the red eyes. So
no pigmentation at all.
Exactly, exactly. But we have different degrees of pinto spots too that we've been breeding for. Some people like the really extreme pintos or just a little spot or two.
Oh, he's pulling. That one's pulling the other one's spikes.
Yeah, she doesn't want her under her wheel. She loves to run in the wheel. That's the Carolina Storm hedgehog wheel, and it's the best hedgehog wheel I've found. It's absolutely my favorite because it's very hey.
Girls, come on now.
Hey. Yeah. Someone's in a bit of a mood.
Oh, did she partially roll up?
Yeah, they can roll up.
Did you see that, Paul? She rolled a little
bit.
Oh, look at that. Now, Paul, wasn't that one of your questions?
Yeah.
Oh, that is...
That's how they protect themselves in the wild. They roll up and they get very, very prickly.
That was Paul's. What was your question? It was, what is their defense? Yeah.
Yep. That's their main defense. The other thing they do is they do something called self-anointing, where they find a different smell, and let's say it's the detergent you use. They'll chew on your shirt a little bit. They won't make a hole because they don't have those sharp rodent teeth. And they'll kind of make a froth in their mouth. And what they do is they contort their body and they can, spread it on themselves. And they do it to blend in with their environment. Put other smells on them, kind of like a camouflage. A lot of people think it's very weird when the hedgehog does it because it's very prominent. You can see the froth. It sticks to the quills. The more unsure they are, they put the quills up. These are my adults. These are full size. They are used to different people and different smells. But when there's different noises, different smells, it puts them on guard a little bit.
Right.
So they're not totally sure what to make of all of this. She's a white.
Some of the other are white.
So she would be the extreme recessive of the color.
Is that
paint.
That frothing?
No, that's paint. Breeders use paint on hedgehogs just to mark them, just so it's easy to tell.
Now, can I touch her quills? Are they? Oh, that's so strange. It's not. It's not nearly as spiky as I thought it would be. Paul, you should check this out. She's not terribly. I mean, definitely something that would be defense against.
I have some on the floor that we'll hold later too.
That is really interesting. Hello.
So this one is a Cinnacot.
Cinnacot. Now, what is that?
It's
little short.
Cinnamon, apricot.
The
there's
color.
a whole range. Yes. This one you can see the quills are almost a strawberry-ish color. But there's a whole range from champagne into apricot colors, into some really pretty bright oranges, cinnamons. And
now, Paul, why don't you ask a couple of your...
Where do hedgehogs live naturally?
I believe they live in underground burrows. From what I understand, they don't dig the burrows, but they use abandoned burrows. They can dig, but it's my understanding that they just steal the old ones. Yeah, there's the European hedgehog, which is a different species than this hedgehog. They're in Europe, I believe Denmark. There's some in New Zealand. I don't know what type they have. There's the Indian hedgehog that has a brown belly, and they have pointy bat-like ears. They're very.
What about this one? That's a good one.
What do they eat?
Well, in the wild, they're an insectivore, so they eat whatever insects they find, whatever native to where they live. Here we feed them mealyworms, waxworms, crickets. Sometimes people give them silkworms.
Ooh.
But our captive hedgehogs, we mostly feed them a diet of cat food, which is right there. In my mix, I have about 8 different foods total. They're mostly cat foods. There's 1 mink food that I add and 1 dog food that I add, just for a little variety.
I think we read about this on your website, that it was a mixture of, and I remember the mink was very limited amounts or something like that, right?
Yeah, the mink food has a little bit of an oil in it that helps their skin. Where these guys are from a naturally dry climate, they don't have oily skin. One thing that's really important is you don't want to overbathe. Bathing strips the oils out of their skin, leads to dry, flaky skin. Hedgehogs, they don't have any scent glands. So unless they get dirty for some reason or another, they really don't need a bath. And, you know, I kind of discourage it because, again, it strips the oils out and leads to that dry, flaky skin. Some people, for the dry skin, will use like a vitamin E or olive oil. Problem with those is it makes the hedgehog a little bit sticky. I also heard some breeders are experimenting with emu oil. So that could be interesting. I'm definitely interested in hearing more about it. In the wild, the European hedgehog does hibernate. I'm pretty sure there's other species of hedgehogs that hibernate. I don't know which ones. This one is the African pygmy hedgehog. They're from a very warm climate, almost desert-like, rocky. These guys aren't supposed to hibernate. So if they get cold, they can go into what we call a false hibernation. Where the easiest way to explain it is, you know how like when a bear hibernates, they have their system slows down, and then it hits that equilibrium. And then in the spring, when the temperatures warm up, they slowly revive, you know, wake up and come back. Hedgehogs don't have an equilibrium, or specifically the African pygmy hedgehog does not have an equilibrium. So if they get too cold, their system just slowly shuts down. So it is important that you put some type of auxiliary heat on the cage. And I tell people, remember, you have to keep it warm for Africa. It has to be warm all the time, all year. You can't depend on house heat because house heat fluctuates, you know, with the temperatures outside.
Is that what that light is for?
Yes, this is what's called a ceramic heat emitter. It's different than a heat light because the bulb doesn't light up.
So it doesn't actually create any, like those red infrared guys do.
Correct. Hedgehogs can see the red light.
They can?
Yep.
Really?
They can see infrared, they can see red. We actually tried it. My friend had a pair of the Army surplus goggles and came over and we let some hedgehogs out and, you know, put on the goggles, and they all just stopped and stared at us. It was the funniest thing. So this is one option for heat. Your other option is over here. Excuse me. This is a heating pad like you'd use for a reptile. And this is a good size here. You want something fairly big. This comes with little feet. You want to make sure you use little feet in the corner. Because what you do is this side is sticky, and you stick it like underneath the cage in the corner where the hedgehogs sleep. So it would be right under here, kind of like that. And then the feet would keep the pad elevated so the hot air can dissipate. And you want to make sure you put it on a hard surface so you're not smothering the bed. Now there are a couple of options for heat if you're traveling as well. Excuse me. This is what's called the Snuggle Safe Disc. This is nice. You put it in the microwave, warms up, and then you put it in the hedgehog's carrier. You can get like a blanket, or some people have nice cases for this.
Carrying them somewhere.
Yep. You can also do like the hand warmer. It's like the kind you use for hunting or skiing. Put them in their little carrier. There's also like the rice sacks or the bean sacks that people make that you microwave to warm up. You can use that too. But all those would be travel solutions versus, you know, something permanently on the cage. You want to go with your heating pad or your ceramic heat emitter.